Now, a lot of high-profile Silicon Valley folks are gathered at the TechCrunch Disrupt conference right now, where startups are vying for attention and for dollars. Well, our next guest won the coveted Disrupt Cup back in May. Zaid is the founder of Getaround, which matches drivers with rides of their choice. Today, he announced a $3.4 million angel round of funding. Investors include Michael Arrington's new Crunch Fund. Sam, welcome to Bloomberg West.
Thank you.
So I kind of think about this as like Airbnb for cars. Is that right? How does this work?
I mean, that's a great description. It actually works exactly the same way. So you can sign up on the website, much like you do on Airbnb. You can list your car, specify how much you want to rent it for by the hour, day, or week, and then someone else can come along and rent it.
And you guys are actually growing pretty fast. You've got more than 5,000 cars signed up. I looked at Zipcar. They actually have 9,000. So you're more than halfway there.
Yeah, that's right. We're pretty excited about that.
Now, you did win the Disrupt Cup back in May. How big was that for you? Was that like a big break for Getaround?
Yeah, I would say that was our biggest break to date. I mean, it was really phenomenal. I mean, we've been covered by hundreds of different news and media outlets. It's really fueled adoption. And I think most importantly, it's really built a lot of credibility around the model as a whole.
Now, we've been covering this whole controversy surrounding Michael Arrington and TechCrunch and the Crunch Fund. Do you think there's a bit of a conflict of interest there in that he, even though he no longer works there, still has incredible sway over this company? The two funds, the fund and the blog, share part of their name. Is there any advantage that he's an investor in you to getting coverage in TechCrunch?
I mean, most of our discussions have been purely on an investor level, not Mike Arrington, the blogger, but Mike Arrington, the investor. And so, he's been very clear with us that in taking his money, that he wouldn't be able to write about us on TechCrunch. So he's been really level about the whole conflict of interest. And in some ways, we brought him in because we really felt, just given how great TechCrunch was for us, it made a lot of sense.
So given his affiliation with TechCrunch, was that at all any kind of an attraction for you in accepting his money? I'm sure there were a lot of investors out there vying to get in.
It was more of a concern for us because he won't write an article about us now. And so, we really thought about that, but we felt, net it was, he was pretty level about being upfront about the whole thing. And for us, it was really the least we could do for the great show we got at TechCrunch.
So at the earlier stages, when there is a lot of interest in your company, how do you decide who to take money from?
I mean, you pick the investors that you really connect with, the ones you think are going to add value, and we've really tried to put together a syndicate of people we really felt could help move the company forward.
Let's talk a little bit about the insurance issue. Obviously, Airbnb ran into some problems earlier this summer with renters actually damaging property. How do you make sure car owners are protected and feel comfortable using your service?
Right. So right out the gate, we've created up to $1 million in coverage through Berkshire Hathaway, which is included as part of every Getaround rental.
So how does that work?
So if you rent a car on Getaround, then as part of every rental from start to finish, we provide collision, comprehensive, and liability coverage for the duration of the rental. And that covers both the renter and the owner of the car. What
kind of feedback so far are you getting from drivers who are owners who are renting their cars?
I mean, phenomenal feedback. I mean, a number of them are actually paying for their cars entirely by renting them out on Getaround.
And these aren't just any cars. These are, Teslas, Lamborghini. These are special cars.
Yes. I mean, some cars are nicer than others. But yeah, I mean, we have, owners of BMWs who, essentially get their cars for free now.
What's your vision? Where do you see this going?
Well, we really see sharing as like a trend that's going to really take off. And all cars at one point should really be shared assets. I mean, they sit out unused 22 hours of each day. That's a lot of spare capacity, and we just want to take advantage of that and really help people be more efficient and use their money more effectively.
Where are you going in terms of mobile? You got an iPhone app. What's next?
Well, all the other platforms we're looking at and really just pushing our iPhone app, we'll be continuing to release new and new features on it.
All right. Zaid, CEO of Getaround, thanks so much for joining us here on Bloomberg West.